Welcome back, everybody, to our podcast on online isolation 2. I am here with first and second place of isolation 1 from last season, Dee Dee and Lils. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Lils, you weren't here last week, but I was just wondering if you have like any first impressions or who stands out to you most in this second cast so far.
Ooh. Can I be real honest? So it's kind of like I feel like we were it. Our cast was like
I'm
it.
saying, right?
And I can't really,
Man.
Nobody's standing out?
I hope I'm saying it without saying it. I just feel like our cast was it. So
Let me go a different direction with this. Do you have any thoughts on Manu? Since he was the topic of conversation last week, Dee Dee loves Manu. Dot was here last week, didn't like Manu. Well, at least his game anyway. But any thoughts on him?
I will say this. I'll say this. I'm a very, very vocal person. So it's kind of like it's a catch 22. I'm like, on one hand, you're interesting, but are you really you? You get what I'm saying? So that's the way, I kind of and I really didn't know. I didn't realize that was really Manu was really the name.
Speaking of vocal, though, he is vocal, Dee Dee, and like that's what's kind of getting him around because he's taking advantage of everyone being nice.
Yeah, he is. He's a very smart player.
Yeah, but y'all already know. I wonder how much of that is actual. You feel me?
Mm.
Yeah. And so, like for me, if I'm looking at somebody, I'm listening to what you're not saying, not what you're saying. So it's kind of like, are you really that smart? Or are you portraying to be that smart because you know that this other person over here is about to blast you? But
Well, we'll get back to Manu. Dee Dee, I want to know if anybody went up for you this week or down for you this week from episode 1.
Manu obviously went up.
He went up again? He was already so high for you.
He was so up again because he just manipulated them in that last elimination thing. He was like, well, I feel targeted. Well, he actually was, but he didn't think he was, but he still managed to get away from that elimination. And the person that went down, let's see. Karashikio. I learned how to say her name. Karashikio. She went down.
Why did she go down?
She talks too much. And she asked the wrong questions too. I don't know why she went in there acting like she was interviewing for a job. She did the same thing Brooklyn did and got her eliminated the very next time that she had first came back in. When she came in, I was like, this is cringe. Like, why are you doing that?
Well, speaking of Brooklyn, Lils, you were one of the first power players in last season with Brooklyn and the Flash. Do you remember what went into determining who got voted out or voted to the void? Because you guys kind of didn't know everybody at that point in the game.
I think I felt like Brooklyn was sneaky. Yeah, I think that's really what it was. I felt like she was sneaky. And I felt like, she kind of played like she played it safe. She played it too safe for me. Too safe. Yeah, I think that's what it was with Brooklyn.
Well, this time it was Shelby and Alex sent to the void. First, Dee Dee, do you have any thoughts on them being sent? Was it just because, Manu wanted to save the people he knew?
That's what it was. Look. I find that chat so interesting because they judge Manu about saying he wants to save the two players that he knows, but then they turn around and do the same thing. Then they complain about it, but you just did what you said that he did. And they over exaggerated too. I don't think it was no alliance there. He just wanted to save the people that he knows. The same thing you did. Like,
Were you surprised that Shelby went instead of JJ?
yes, like what chat was, did I miss the chat where JJ was funny or something? They said he was hilarious telling jokes. I'm like, where was this? Was this shown in the show?
Maybe not. Maybe it didn't make the edit.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, he wasn't funny at all. Even the little jokes he tried to make, it wasn't funny. But I guess, I don't know.
Do you have any thoughts on Shelby or Alex being the first sent to the void? Shelby had one of the higher low scores.
Yeah, I was surprised for Shelby going because she seemed so likable with everyone. But based on how they did it, I understand how she ended up in there based on the process they did.
Lils, do you feel similar?
So I want to go back to JJ. JJ was kind of, I can't put my finger on it. It's kind of weird to me.
As in what?
Like, he seems like he's strategic, but at times it seems like he doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, last week I told D and Dot that he was kind of like Monet and that he was at work a lot during this, so he kind of was distracted half the time.
Okay. Because I was like, But not, not really with, this group and people being voted to the void. I feel like it's a little bit different. I don't feel like you have strong personalities. I don't think you have a lot of strong personalities. Like, it's like you have a strong personality, but you don't really have a lot of strong personalities. So it's kind of, for me, it's hard to gauge.
Who do you think is the strong personality?
I think Manu could have a strong personality, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. Because, by me not actually physically being in there, I can't really gauge it. Because, from the outside looking in, it's like, shut up. But,
Now, in your guys' season, the void wasn't. It was kind of a chill place on your guys' season. People were there drinking wine.
I wanted to go.
Elizabeth had a big ass wine cooler bottle that one time, but this void is already thinking about they need to work together. And Lils, you were worried about this on your season that the void might be working together, but it never really worked out. But do you think this group might actually be able to work together in the void?
Because like I say, it goes back to those personalities. Like, it seems like this group is a lot more hippie-like. Oh, it's flowers and butterflies versus everybody with us. We was like, hell nah, this is not about to happen. I'm coming for you, and you don't know I'm coming for you. It is different. It's so funny, but it was almost like, it's almost like you handpicked and says, you know what? Because that first group was crazy.
Not quite, but what are your thoughts on Alex and Shelby in the void? Can they gather like a group together, which they seem to be trying to do, Didi?
Me? Yeah, I think it could work out. Like if they all stick to what they said they want to do, I think they can be really strong about it. Because I feel like Shelby might end up back in the game sometime. She probably won't, but I feel like she will.
Did you like their choices of bringing Sasha and Armani down to the void to talk?
With Sasha, yes, because they were trying to figure out was she a power player and stuff like that. But as for Armani, I'm not really sure why she picked her. I guess because she was friends with her or something.
That seemed to be the case.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now we'll get back to Manu now. He's been the vocal point of the season so far, and this time he decided to tell Hannah he rated her a 1. Why do you think he did this?
He was being funny. And what I'm irritated by is the fact that Hannah switched his words around. Not once, unless it wasn't in the show, not once did he say, I gave everybody ones. I've been giving, because he wasn't. All his scores were like mostly high scores, and she up there spreading that last time on song, he giving everybody ones. No, he gave you and Ella, what's the other one? He gave them ones. And to be honest, I would have gave them ones too. They talking about sneaking out windows and shit. I'm like, what the fuck what do you want him to do? Lie?
Lils, you seem to
Oh, yeah.
disagree.
Well, no. It just, once again, for me, it's been a lot of compare and contrast. So it just took me back to us. It took me back to us and the pack. You remember the pack that we won't just give her, well, they won't give everybody fives. It just took me back to that. And then like when it didn't happen, it was just like crazy. So yeah, I definitely I think that it's a possibility by him being so vocal. It's like, okay, let me put this out there and see. It could have been bait. We really don't know. It could have been bait. So
Didi, he also told Hannah that he saved her. So should Hannah really feel some type of way like she feels? Because
No, Hannah is really annoying me right now at this point. Like, the annoyance of her is like to the max right now. Just for that one thing, like he saved you basically. And I don't like that how the power players was trying to they made it seem like Manu was the one that decided who went to the void when all of them decided who went to the void.
he became the scapegoat.
Yes, he did.
Do you have any thoughts on Hannah, Lils, and her thoughts on feeling some type of way that Manu gave her one?
not really. I mean, I would have been like, I gave you a one. So like,
It's true.
and it would have kind of been like, oh, you feel bad about that? I'm sorry. Not really, not, but so not really. I mean, it just, at the end of the day, I think that one of the things that I learned with this whole process, and I kind of feel like this group exhibits a little bit more of this than we did. But I think I learned it's a game. And to a certain extent, you got to be fake and phony. But for people that aren't used to that, it's hard. But I think this group, I think a part of them kind of get it, and then another part of them still think that they're gonna all be friends and they're gonna all come together and they're gonna all take down Manu, and that's what it's gonna be.
Let's talk about the middle group for a while. We had Armani, Ella, and Kia, who were always in the middle for almost every round. And Kia we talked about it a little at the beginning, but she got chosen to go to the power player group and kind of infiltrate. But she kind of mentioned me in this, and I think that gave herself away. Nick didn't put me up to this. Well, that's kind of weird to say. Didi, what were your thoughts on that whole situation?
They shouldn't have sent her. Like the minute they asked her, what kind of questions are you going to ask? Well, I'm going to ask how long they've been here. What did you get to do? Like, this is not a job interview, sis. What are you doing? I would have been like, oh, no, switch it. Ella, you can go. Because she was doing too much. Like, it's not a job interview. Those were terrible questions.
What would have been your reaction if you were a power player, Lils? Because you were a power player a lot at the beginning of the game, but if somebody were infiltrated, how do you think that would have went?
Well, I think somebody did, but but I think it probably would have got a lot more heated than it already was. Because it would have been kind of like, all right, I already got to watch these open assholes. Now I got to watch silent assholes. It would have just been battle of the assholes. And Nick, it's so funny because the funny part is, and I got to take it back there, the whole time everybody kept thinking it was you doing XYZ. You were, and it's just kind of like, nah, not for real. These people are really acting like this. However, Maybe a little bit different this time. We don't know.
Well, do you think Chris and Alexia and Sasha reacted good to Kia's questions? Like, did they play it off well? Because they all were suspicious.
I acknowledge the fact of them being smart to notice her being suspicious, but I think they kind of, well, Chris, I think he kind of overlooked it a little bit in his confessional because he's gonna vote her up and stuff. But that's another subject. But yeah, I think they did okay.
Do you think it's just because Chris feels, someone's around his age, so that's why he likes Kia?
Yeah, and that's it.
Well, back to this hunt of Manu. So Armani's in the void, and they're all talking about Manu a little bit, and then there comes this the girls' power alliance with Armani, Hannah, Alla. Do you think their main goal is to take out Manu now, since that was their main topic of discussion, Lils?
I do. Just point blank, period. I really, really do. I will say this. I think if you had a female that really had a strong, because you don't really have a really strong personality. If you had a female with a real strong personality, then I think it would be a little bit different. They may be a little bit more skeptical, but yeah, it's going down. Now I don't know how it's gonna go down, but it's going down. They're gonna try to take him out.
The target is growing on your boy, Didi. What does he need to do if this group is coming after him? Because it's not just these three; it's other people that are kind of throwing him under the bus.
Like I said before, they all just hating on him. That's the honest truth. Like he did nothing. He did nothing wrong, and they're just hating on him. Especially Hannah. I don't get it. No, Chris, especially Chris. Like you doing the most, Chris. I don't like him.
By the end of that episode, though, he seemed to want. I mean, he wanted to save Manu for his own gain to
Yeah,
use him as a shield, but I mean, he did want to save him.
yeah. He only wanted to save him to save himself, though. So
Is there anybody Manu could turn to at this point, since there's growing numbers against him?
it has to be Chris. Unfortunately,
I was legit gonna say that. It's something about Chris that's just is different. Now I don't know. It could be a little bit more maturation. Maybe that's what it is.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, Didi, for real.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Aaron, Didi, because in your season, you, Leo, and Kelsey all, had the whole idea to let's vote everybody else low and vote ourselves high, which, worked. Aaron's kind of onto this, but she's doing it by herself. But do you think that can work for her if she's just doing it by herself, or does she need other players with her like you guys had?
in a game like this, you need at least two allies. One that's flamboyant and loud, and the other one that's kind of like subtle but likable. You always gonna need two people. Just in case y'all end up in three different spots, you're gonna need two. But she needs some help. But I do see she's starting to grow on me, actually. I like her.
Why is she growing on you?
Oh, because she's smart. Like I'm not gonna say I didn't think she was smart, but I didn't think she would understand how to play the game because like this early on, I don't think anyone understood how to play the game. But I don't know. She just caught on real fast. And I saw in the preview how fast she caught on with Dillion and Elizabeth. So she's really smart.
Now, Lils, you were not a fan of the low voting during your season because you like the honest voting. But do you have any thoughts on this whole strategy that happens after a while?
I mean, I guess when I think about it as a game, I get it. It's just like underbid and playing spades. You never want to overbid, but you will underbid. You get what I'm saying? But also, spades underbidding to get you effed up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess, with this group, I'm not as irritated as I would be if it were us. Cause I just feel like we had too many really, really eye people to play games. Like we really were in it to, ooh, well, some of us were, but but this group, Nick, I can't even, I'm telling you, it's so hard to put my finger on what it is. They are so different though.
But I do feel like they do. I do think more people in this game see it as a game than your guys' season.
Yeah, they
Oh
do.
yeah, we were real. Yo, if we had been in a house, we would have burnt the house down.
I think so.
Yes. But what I would love to see our cast and their cast do this.
Ooh,
That would be interesting.
they gonna beat our ass.
People would be running. No, I think people would be running home. Literally.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could get most of this cast to do that against your cast, but we'll see. So we talked about it a little bit, Didi, but Manu did work some magic again. He convinced Sasha and JJ to save him again. Why do you think that's working for him? Is it just because everybody is nice and he's the one that's vocal enough to save himself?
That and the fact that when you look at Manu, you don't see like a threat per se. He's like a Napoleon Dynamite a little bit. So like you just want to like not physically, like you just want to like cuddle him. He's just so fragile. You don't want to hurt his feelings or nothing. So you just be nice to him.
I don't know about all that. Lils, I don't think Lils knows that
I
either.
want a hug.
Would you coddle Manu, Lils?
Dee, you forgetting what I do during the daytime.
Oh.
Be the ones. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it just like that. You coddle, they're gonna be fucking you up for real. And basically, I guess that's why too. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I would have fell for it too. I would have fell for it. But it just seems so sweet and so innocent.
Did play really well that time.
But you like that though?
I know.
Well, in the end, it was JJ also voted to the void at the end of the episode. But also, this is when Kia kind of fucked up and said that she was in two different groups. Treasure was in two different groups one time your season, which you guys almost figured out but never did. But any thoughts on Kia giving herself away, similar to Manu?
I don't think she meant to. It's just the fact that she talks so much anyway. It just slipped out because she tried to catch herself, but like she already realized, well, I already said it now. Then she just explained it. I would act like I lost connection or something though. Like, what's her name? What was her name from Survival? Online Survival.
Carrie?
Carrie, when she lost signal, I would have did that.
True. Well, we all kind of talked about it last week, Lils, but Deleon and Elizabeth are coming into the game. How are they gonna fit in with this cast, Lils? You don't think it's gonna happen? Are they gonna stick out?
Yes. Now for Deleon, unless he changed his approach, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Cause this cast, I don't think they're gonna receive him well. We just kind of once again it goes back to, for one, we were, for the most part, I will say, for the most part, I feel like all of us were ourselves to a degree. Some of us did alter our, personalities, but I think all of us were ourselves to a degree. So with that respect, I don't know how this cast will receive him. They're gonna be like, probably looking around like, what do we do? What do we do with this? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you say Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, y'all know Elizabeth being La La Land. She just love, but she love. So I think they'll like Elizabeth, but I don't think they're gonna receive DeLeon. They probably gonna manipulate Elizabeth. We gonna have to have her back.
Oh,
We're gonna have to be like, don't look into the light.
don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Over here screaming, hey, are you live?
Oh my god.
Didi, do you think DeLeon can change up his game from, stirring some shit around like in season 1?
See, I think he can, but we know Dillion. He can only do it for so long. I don't know. It depends on who he's with.
I asked this last week, Didi, but you answered for Elizabeth. But what about for DeLeon? Who can he maybe work with?
I know who he's not working with. Manu. He is not. That's gonna be funny when he meets Manu. But who he can work with, I think Armani or Karashika.
Lils, do you see anybody that DeLeon or Elizabeth might be able to get along with?
You know what? DeLeon might get along with Alexia.
Which one is Alexia?
Why do you say that?
She just seemed like she looking for somebody to talk to. You get what I'm saying? You know how like people are quiet, kinda, but given the right talkative person, that's what I'm gonna look for.
I feel like you felt that way about Didi in season 1. And then Didi found Leo and Kelsey.
Yep. And do you remember me even saying Didi done won this game? Like I kept saying
I remember that.
I kept saying it. I'm telling you, I always like it was just so, it was so obvious to me. I don't know if people were really looking at and that's why I always say, I don't pay attention to what people say, I pay attention to what they don't say. Yep. So.
Well, do you guys have any predictions for episode 3 as DeLeon and Elizabeth are in the game?
I'm just ready to watch. This is going to be funny. They're going to act like they don't know each other.
I will say that DeLeon is on a roll from right off the start. DeLeon is on a roll.
I can't wait to watch it. But yeah, and I think not all of them, but I think the power players, I think they're going to go down, at least like 1 or 2 of them, because they're getting a little ahead of themselves, to be honest.
Sasha already dropped to the bottom.
Yeah, but what's her name? What was the other one? It was Alexia, Chris,
Kia.
No, the first one. Was it Sasha?
Yeah.
Okay, so she did get ahead of herself. How she was like planning to organize who they want to get out the game. Like she had a permanent spot as a power player. Right? I think some more of them are going to go down too. And I still think either Dillion or Manu or Elizabeth going to win.
They're still your top 3.
Top 3, yep.
Lils, do you have any predictions you would like to make for the next episode or in general?
Not really, but I do agree with Didi. I think because Elizabeth has had an opportunity to be with us off the record in the group and really learn a little bit more, I think that's gonna put her in a good position to come in and devour everything walking. Like she might alter her personality this go round. That's what you know what, now that I think about it, yes. That's my prediction. She is going to come in there like a silent typhoon.
I guess my last question, Didi, you kind of mentioned it that, they're going to play off that they're new and that they never weren't in season one. Do you think they can keep that up?
Yes, I think so. As long as nobody don't they get like spying abilities in this season? Who? I don't know. I don't want to say Elizabeth might forget because sometimes she can be a little off. But I think for the most part, if she's sober, I think, oh, that sounds offensive. Sorry, Elizabeth. But like if she's like really paying attention to it, I think it'll work.
Lils, do you think they can get away with saying they weren't in season one?
Um, yeah. I mean, Elizabeth can. You know I love my son, but Elizabeth can't. I don't know about Dillion. Cause his ass gonna be up in that joint going in. And I'm just gonna laugh. I'm gonna be like, Lord, boy, please stop. Please. You gonna incriminate yourself. Like, yo.
Well, any last thoughts for this episode or predictions for the next episode?
I predict, but I hope it doesn't happen. Manu might get eliminated, probably. But I hope not. I hope he can pull that magic, but they're spreading the lie and everybody believing it. So
I'm with you, Didi, because you know, people will run from the truth, but they arrive with the lie.
yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for joining me this week. I look forward to your guys' thoughts on Elizabeth and Dillon in their first episode. Is there anything you would like to promote now that we get a lot of downloads, but anything you would like to promote?
Not really, but absolutely. I want Didi to be a part of a music conference that I'm working on for September because I know that she's into music and she doesn't really talk about it a lot. But I watch you and definitely think you're dope. And so I am planning a music conference, and it would be super dope for real, if there was some way that you would be able to even talk about this, because I would love for you to get a group of the artists, the rappers and all of that, and have them play this game.
I would love it. I think that'd
It'll be
be highly
diss tracks
entertaining.
everywhere.
If season 3, if you cool with that, I will help you recruit them and let's make it happen. I think it would be great because the cap is real amongst these indie artists.
Sounds good to me. We will talk about it. Well, I want to thank you both. I will email you guys later in the week. I will see everybody next week.